Summer sun can be harsh on the skin, but Genucel Skincare has got you covered. Order the Genucel Complete Skincare Package with Dark Spot Corrector now and get 70% off plus free shipping at Genucel.com/scroll. Welcome to Nightly Scroll, everyone. I'm Hayley Caronia. Thank you for joining me on this, Thursday evening? This week has just been flying by. And just a quick reminder, because tomorrow I will be hosting Vince. So bright and early. You don't have to wait until the nighttime. You don't have to wait until Nightly Scroll to get your Hayley fix. You can get it at 10 a.m. on Rumble for Vince, and then I will be hosting radio show with Jim. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. All of the Hayley content you could possibly get, because I will also have an episode of Nightly Scroll tomorrow night, and I've got a really good interview on deck with a COVID-19 vaccine injured woman. She's Canadian, and the Canadian government has offered to kill her, to make it all go away and make her feel better. That's their option. So we're going to go into all of the Canadian craziness tomorrow. So Vince at 10 a.m., radio show for 3 hours, awesome interview at 6 p.m. I hope you will join me. Of course, if you want to watch, you got to do it on Rumble. We are Rumble exclusive across all of Silverlock. So rumble.com/Hayley is where you can watch Nightly Scroll. Of course, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform, but let's get into tonight's show. Kamala Harris has written a book all about her big L, her big loss in 2024. I don't know who would buy this book, but we're going to talk about it. She's also going to promote it on Stephen Colbert tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm going to wait for all of the clips to come in on X, and then I'll make fun of it for you tomorrow morning. So we'll get into that. Are there fireworks between Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry? New videos of them out to dinner and Justin fangirling over her at her concert may suggest so. TSA rescued a turtle from a woman's bra in Miami. I teased that story last night because I was going to cover it last night but didn't get to it. I'll make sure we get to it tonight for sure. Just some turtles in the bra, no big deal, nothing to see here. Then we're going to do a deep dive into Oprah's and Mark Zuckerberg's massive palatial Hawaiian estates. Are they bunkers? Did Oprah really paint her roof blue to evade those fires in 2023? What do they know that we don't? We're going to talk all about it in tinfoil hat time. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. I don't have my tinfoil hat. It's all the way over there. All right, Kamala Harris, she is releasing a book about what happened on the campaign trail. It is called 107 Days, because that's how long her campaign was. Ugh, if only it could be shorter. If only it was 0. But we had to all go through it, and now she's writing a book about it. So let's take a listen.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward. In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while, but I remain full of hope, and I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals, always on behalf of the people. So thank you for being in this fight with me. I am forever grateful. And I cannot wait for you to read this. And I'll see you out there. Take care.
Bye. All right. So there were a lot of things that made me laugh in there. First of all, the chat is cracking me up because someone said it should be called 107 Drinks. And she did sound a little, this is Kamala Harris at her best, right? And her best is sounding a little drunk. Her words are slurring a little bit. She's very Yeah,
Just so everybody knows in the chat, and hear ye, I'm staring at it. This video was 1 minute and 20 seconds. Did it not feel
like an eternity?
Yes. How is that possible with this woman?
Oh my gosh, just an eternity. And I don't know why she needs to write a book about how badly she did. Why do we need to know her insights and her journal? I mean, if I don't want to read her journal, okay, I'm going to say something a little maybe rude. I don't want to offend people, but do adults keep journals?
I mean, I don't. I think like it's okay to like maybe something like a captain's log. You know what I mean? Just like jot down some ideas. But you don't dear diary.
I write down goals. I write down goals because people say statistically you're more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. Do I want to read Harris's journal, her diary? No. So, I'm not trying to offend people if you have that, but, Harris's, I don't think we need to read that. And we all saw what happened on the campaign trail. What happened is Kamala Harris spent $5 million on Meg Thee Stallion so that she could twerk on stage in front of prospective voters. No intellectual, independent, or swing voters are swayed by celebrity endorsements. They're not swayed by Meg Thee Stallion twerking. They're not swayed by J-Lo crying about her, Puerto Rican heritage, because she was all upset about the joke that Tony Hinchcliffe made at Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. Do you guys remember all that? All of a sudden, he tells this joke about Puerto Ricans, and then all of a sudden the Democrats were just scrambling to find a Puerto Rican who would cry on stage on behalf of Kamala Harris. I mean, it's just insane. Then they had Beyonce speak, and everyone was all upset because they thought it was going to be a Beyonce concert, and it wasn't. Then they did the Call Her Daddy podcast appearance. They ghosted Joe Rogan, essentially saying, no, we're not going to go to Austin, Texas. You have to come to us. And they said, F off. No, you come to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan doesn't come to you. Anyway, they made a lot of bad media decisions in the 11th hour. And these were last-ditch efforts. These were Hail Marys, to say the very least. And anyone dumb enough to vote for someone based on celebrity endorsements was already voting for Kamala Harris anyway. If you were waiting for Taylor Swift to say, me and all my cat ladies are voting for Kamala Harris, you're dumb. If you were waiting for whoever else came out in support of Kamala, you're dumb. And again, we had celebrity endorsements on the right, but no one was like, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan voted for Trump. Now I'm going to vote for Trump. I mean, no one is on the fence and then they're sold by a celebrity endorsement. Unless you're a low IQ individual. So again, anyone dumb enough to watch Kamala Harris piss money away on the campaign trail and then give her more money to read a book about it is just a lost cause. Do you think that this book is going to be about like a Monday morning quarterbacking situation like all these other Democrats? Because we saw the Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson book, Original Sin, come out, and, they get to distance themselves from Biden and pretend like they covered him totally fairly the whole time. And, they were washing their hands of everything. Like they didn't do anything wrong. And same with KJP. She came out, wrote a book about how she was actually never a Democrat. She's been an independent the whole time. So do you think that Kamala Harris will now kind of take that same route where she'll now start to blame Biden in the ways that she couldn't on the campaign trail?
Anybody associated with that administration is pigeonholed because previous people super involved have pled the fifth when asked direct questions.
Right.
So she can't incriminate anything to be asked about under oath. So it's like, this is total, like, when I woke up on Monday, I was thinking, and then it's whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I
wonder what the advance is. What do you think she was advanced to write this? And is there any possible way there's enough Americans interested in this to make 10 million back from this kind of book deal?
I think people will buy it. Joe Biden's book, he got a $10 million advance, but he was the president of the United States, right? And I think people respect Joe Biden more than Kamala Harris. Would you agree with that statement?
I think I would say wherever that bar is, I'm not sure, but I do think that
I'm not talking about conservatives. I'm talking
no,
about
no,
the
overall.
collective.
I mean, Joe Biden has decades and decades of years in run, in civil service. So like, it's probably like, but like, I don't think people respect
Kamala
her
Harris.
whatsoever.
I agree.
At all.
I agree. I don't think that she carried herself well on the campaign trail. She's certainly not well spoken. So I don't know why anyone would read a book written by her or written by a ghostwriter passed off as her. And then that's disingenuous, and people would be able to tell in 5 seconds if Kamala Harris wrote it or not. So it's interesting. I mean, she couldn't bash Biden on the campaign trail because blaming Biden would be blaming herself, right? If she admitted that Biden was horrible at this, that, and the other thing, then people would start asking her questions like, well, why didn't you fix it? Why didn't you were in there, you were his running mate.
It'd be interesting. And I would say that some of these people are goofy enough to incriminate themselves in telling their own story. Like when you indict yourself in your own memoir, you know what I mean? Like that alone might be worth a little bit of paying attention to this book.
Right. Because if she blames Biden for the failures during the administration, she's admitting that she either had something to do with it or she did nothing, which is probably just as embarrassing. So I think basically in this book, she's going to admit that she was vice president in name only, which I think a lot of people figured, because she was the border czar and she was horrible at that. I mean, that was like her one task and she screwed it up.
She is stuck with the legacy that she had as vice president to him as president because they can't talk now. They have cemented that ceiling shut. And when one crack in it falls, when there's one crack in it, it all falls.
What do you mean they can't talk?
I don't think that they can talk about the administration. I think it's like shut up. These people have been asked questions about who was leading his presidency, who was making decisions when he's obviously incompetent. I mean, she knew who was making calls on his behalf. They were calling her and talking to her about it. That's the only way that if Joe Biden is as bad as what we think he is and what they're pleading the fifth, saying that he, just protecting that information, how in the world did she not know?
No,
this book needs to shut up about Joe Biden and all of that because this is not going away and these people are pleading the fifth and this is a major deal. And so
this is dangerous. Someone in the chat said she can't talk or she'll be implicated in crimes. To your point about everyone else pleading the fifth. That's true.
Somebody in the chat said AI wrote it.
I mean, yeah.
Probably did.
When Kamala Harris speaks, I feel like she puts her speeches into Chat GPT or something. It doesn't sound...
Can you imagine listening to her as you're ghostwriting this book? How do you stay awake?
Could you imagine the audio book? She's probably doing it. Everyone who writes a book, they do the audio version. They have to sit and imagine she has to sit for hours and record this. And then you think people would listen to Kamala Harris read this?
Well, you'd have to listen to it in 4X. I mean, it's like 4 times the speed of
That's how I watch everything. My attention span is like that of a goldfish. So I watch everything in double speed. And when I'm on Instagram and I can't watch something in double speed, it drives me insane. Based on the title, 107 Days, it seems like Kamala Harris is going to argue that if she had more time to run a real campaign, not one that was just thrust upon her, she would have had a better shot. I think that's the angle that she's going to try to take, because she'll say that, she did the best that she could with the cards that she was dealt, which isn't true. Because she ran for president in 2020 and was so unpopular. She was the most unpopular candidate. She had to drop out before any primary votes were cast. So literally not even Democrats like Kamala Harris. So she was only put into the position as the vice president because she was a DEI hire. Joe Biden was old and white and they thought, well, damn, we got to offset this somehow. And Kamala Harris was the only black woman in the race. So they thought, perfect. I mean, that's how she got where she got. So what's next for Kamala Harris? She's an author. And now she's come out and said she's not running for governor of California because there were some rumblings and grumblings about Kamala Harris maybe filling in after Gavin Newsom leaves office, because he can't run for governor again. So he's done, which essentially sets Gavin Newsom up for 2028. And a lot of people were throwing Kamala Harris's name in the ring for California governor in 2026. But she says no. So if we could just scroll over to the next page of her statement, there's a, she talks about being a devout public servant, but she says, for now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office. I look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people and helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fearlessly and sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans. Okay, so she's saying for now means she's not ruling it out in the future. So for now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office. That doesn't mean that she won't run in the future. And she's going to tease details about her future in the months to come. And Gavin Newsom kind of gave a similar non-answer. Because he said that, he's been asked, are you running for president in 2028? And he just keeps deflecting and saying that we're focused on the midterms. And, he's campaigning in South Carolina, but he's just worried about the midterms.
Yeah, he's on a major podcast in Tennessee.
Yeah, he's talking to Charlie Kirk on his podcast and trying to, cosplay as like a middle of the road moderate, which he is not. But, he's giving these coy answers. Kamala Harris kind of like teasing. Could we see President Kamala Harris and VP Gavin Newsom ticket or vice versa?
You think people would still give money to her? That's the question. If people going to donate any kind of money to any campaign that's involved with, I think Pete Buttigieg could raise more money on a campaign than Kamala Harris.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree with you on that. But I don't think Democrats at this point, they've run Hillary Clinton, they've run Kamala Harris. I think they are dead set on having a woman on the ticket, whether it's vice president or president. I think Democrats are really pushing for that. Not that it matters, but it matters to them. So I don't know if Kamala Harris would run as a vice presidential candidate again. Has that ever happened in history? I don't know. If we've had the same vice president, but for two different presidents.
Vice president for two different presidents, I don't believe so.
Yeah. That would be odd. I can't see her doing that. So I think she would have to run for president and she would need someone like Gavin Newsom. But I see Gavin Newsom as a presidential candidate. I can't see Gavin Newsom running as a I can't see him being a vice presidential pick. But I could see him running with maybe someone like an AOC, a younger Democratic socialist, to appease the very progressive left, the Zohran Mamdani voters in New York City kind of thing. But Gavin Newsom and AOC would be the ultimate Democrat coastal elite ticket ever. Like that would be almost embarrassing.
Now is the time for this next generation of that Democratic tier woman to like move forward. I mean, Kamala is done. She's made her money on this book, and anything else she does might be a guest host on like The View. Like that's really it for her. Make a couple million a year working for some affiliate, whatever. But she needs to get out of the way for some of these other people if they are going to ever do anything.
Yeah, I think at some point you have to look in the mirror. If you run for president multiple times and lose, you need to take a seat. Clearly you're unpopular, which brings me to another unpopular failed presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton. And we already know that Hillary Clinton bought and paid for the Steele dossier to falsely accuse Donald J. Trump of Russia collusion. This was back in 2015 during the first campaign. But now new declassified documents provide even more proof of that. Again, we already knew this, but now more proof is coming out. So Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, he made these documents public today. It is a formerly classified appendix to John Durham's report, his special counsel report in 2023. And this has never seen the light of day before today, thanks to Chuck Grassley. But this is crazy. So here's an email. This is on page 11 from the documents that were unsealed today by Chuck Grassley. This is an email from Leonard Bernardo. These are people who work on Hillary Clinton's campaign. They've all got ties to Soros. It's crazy. Hi. HRC approved Julia's idea about the Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue, say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menace, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable.
In other words, not there.
Why are these people emailing back and forth about criminal things like this? This is so stupid. You know, Hillary Clinton's got all these missing emails, and then to cover it up, they're emailing about another cover up. I mean, these people are corrupt beyond belief. Beyond belief. And so Julia is this woman who worked on the Clinton campaign. She was an advisor to Hillary Clinton. And basically, she was saying in all these documents that this would be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. They knew that this wasn't going to be, they weren't going to build Rome in a day. They were going to work hard, long and hard, to tie President Trump to Putin. They said that it was a good for a post-convention bounce. So they were planning this. They were going to drop things in strategic timing. And then they said on page 9 of this document, later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire. You know what that means? The Clinton campaign was using Obama's DOJ and FBI to make all of this work, to make all of this happen, to wave their magic wands and turn this into something that they could get Trump with. Again, we already know this, but just reading the email, first of all, how stupid are you to put it in an email? I mean, thank goodness they put it in an email, but these people are horrible criminals.
Send a pigeon.
You would think.
Do something super
Call
analog.
someone on a phone, meet someone in real life, go into a back alley or something. I mean, these people are horrible. I'm not a criminal, but at least I can try to get into the mind of one and not be so bad. I've watched enough Criminal Minds to know that you don't email your evil plans. Just dumb.
Or text them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's insane. So this document, the documents that were exposed by Chuck Grassley, were found, according to FBI Director Kash Patel, in a burn bag. So we can pull this headline up. Kash Patel found thousands of sensitive Trump-Russia probe docs inside burn bags in secret room at the FBI. So my question is this. Well, first of all, he teased this on Joe Rogan's podcast. Remember when Kash did the interview with Joe Rogan and he said, we found all these documents like locked away in rooms. So something very sketchy was going on at the FBI, which we knew. But my question is this. It seems very sketchy to me that these documents were left in burn bags. If they were in burn bags, someone wanted them gone. Someone wanted these documents destroyed. This is obviously someone in either Obama's DOJ or Biden's DOJ. But they weren't destroyed.
Yes, I'm just asking the basic noob question here. In a burn bag, and then somebody didn't burn yeah. We're going to put it in a burn bag, but it's going on my shelf behind my desk. I want to believe it's true, right? But to me, this just seems, and again, these people are really dumb. Obviously, they're emailing all their correspondence about like how they're going to get Trump. And, we saw for years the text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, these rogue FBI agents that wanted to take down Trump. I mean, they're all texting about it and emailing about it on their government phones and their government emails. I mean, they're just birds of a feather. Hillary Clinton emailing and then deleting her emails and bleach bitting her hard drives and all this stuff. I mean, they're smashing everything. They're putting things in burn bags. It's just insane. But if someone wanted them gone, which it seemed like they did want them gone because they were put in burn bags and locked away in these secret rooms, why wouldn't you actually go through with destroying them? If you were part of Obama's or Biden's DOJ and you know that Trump's DOJ is coming in behind you,
wouldn't you delete the evidence? Like, wouldn't you actually get rid of the evidence and not leave it for Trump's new FBI director to come find it? Like, what do you mean it's just in some room?
It makes total sense that they thought without a shadow of a doubt that Hillary was going to win. And so this stuff was just done sort of out. Exactly.
But then she didn't. So you have until from November to January to clean up your mess.
Exactly.
But they didn't.
Unbelievable.
Like, it's too stupid to be true. That's how I feel about it. Okay, so beyond this being hard to believe that they're this dumb, I have another question. What now? Without a shadow of a doubt, we have evidence that Hillary Clinton faked the Russia collusion hoax. Again, we've known this. To influence the outcome of the 2016 election. So, what?
Call her before Congress.
She gets immunity. Nobody in Obama's DOJ is going to jail because DNI Tulsi Gabbard says that Obama committed treason. But I don't think that Obama is going to jail. I think if you think that Obama is going to jail, that's wishful thinking. I think he is very protected. He is very safe. Chefs can go missing on his property and whatever else. And he's fine. And it's seemingly Hillary Clinton is just fine and protected too. So it's odd that this news comes out, evidence comes out. We've known this for years. Nothing has happened so far. All we can do is hope that the right people are making moves on this going forward. But I don't think that Obama is going to jail. So that means maybe some of the guys under Obama will have to go, like Clapper, Comey, etc.
All those heads
to make up for it.
CIA with what was it, the
Obama's not taking the fall. It's got to be one of
Clapper,
the
Brennan, Comey, all of them. But it would be, why couldn't Hillary Clinton be called before Congress? Like,
she should be.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, whatever happens. I don't think she's going to jail. But like, there's her name on a document.
But you know what she can do?
Plead the fifth. But make her do it.
Right.
Like make her wear the image that we think is, like make her do it. That's not a futile process. Bring all them in there and make them answer the question. It was a big deal.
Yeah. I just, I have little faith that things will get done, but I really, really do hope that it does, because you can't get away with influencing elections and the American electorate and convincing them that, Trump is, just this Russian asset and he's, fooling around with strippers in Russia and paying this person off and, whatever, all the 34 felony counts and all the things that they tried to get him with. It's like, all right, we got to do this to them then, because they set the standard. So if you can come and attack President Trump, then I want to see whatever felony accounts they can get on Obama, not made up, but, present this.
The other important point in this whole shenanigan is that they routinely, with that presidential daily brief from December 8th, that they had, no Russia and, meddling in any election. And then Obama called all those committees to do another, threat assessment. And I mean, all of that stuff, what you get in and throughout all of that are like the people that are doing the everyday jobs were doing their job and telling them what the truth was. And it just goes to show you again how corrupt that top tier. They're just, the people are working so hard in those organizations, and the top, 2% of those organizations.
I don't know. I don't trust a lot of them. I think there are probably some good guys, some like rank and file members that are true patriots. I believe that. But I also think, there are people like the Lisa Pages and the Peter Strzok's of the world who are super corrupt, and they're, these government holdovers that worked for many administrations, Democrat and Republican alike. So they just sit there and they're just these like deep state swamp creatures.
Absolutely. But it was our intelligence that was telling Brennan and Comey that we should not trust this dossier. We should not put it in anything that could, and they were routinely and perpetually ignored. And so like, that shows how bad that things were. And if that alone, those three people
Yeah.
should
Someone
really
in the
be
chat
punished.
said no one will be successfully prosecuted, but it should be public discovery. And that's really, I think, what all of these people are doing. Chuck Grassley, they are making these documents public so that people can see it. And this is out in the public. I mean, we all knew, the conspiracy theorists knew that Hillary Clinton was a criminal, but now everyone else can see it. So anyway, I want to take a quick break to tell you about Genucel. Summer is here, and so are those visible dark mark sunspots and other blemishes that the sun leaves behind. Until now, the dark spot corrector from our friends at Genucel helps visibly fade away dark marks, sunspots, scars, and other signs of discoloration all over your skin. I use it. This is me getting ready for my nighttime routine. I'm washing my face. I'm prepping my skin. I'm putting Genucel all over it because I trust them. It is formulated with patented LumiSkin, a revolutionary new ingredient, and Genucel's legendary base, shown to help visibly reduce age spots, sunspots, uneven skin tone for a brighter, more youthful look. You will be amazed how quickly you can see results. I put it on my skin, the dark spot corrector on my acne scars, on my neck. You can now enjoy your summer, your beach, your barbecues without those pesky spots. As always, you'll see results or your money back, no questions asked. And right now, you can get your dark spot corrector with every Genucel complete skincare package for over 70% off. Plus, enter promo code SCROLL at checkout for an extra discount on top of the 70% off. World-class skincare that works, guaranteed, or your money back. Order yours right now and get Genucel XV Moisturizer for hydrating, moisturizing effect on your delicate skin during the harsh summer months. That is Genucel.com/scroll. Genucel.com/scroll. Visit Genucel.com. Get a free spa box with 2 bonus gifts and free shipping. Again, that is Genucel.com/scroll. I also want to tell you about Blackout Coffee. Let's talk about convenience without sacrificing quality. You already know I drink Blackout Coffee all the time, every morning when I get to the studio. All day long, I'm drinking Blackout Coffee. And if you're like me, you need that caffeine fix first in the morning and fast. And their coffee pods are a total game changer. These are not your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh roasted, bold coffee made right here in Florida. And they work with single serve pod brewers. So yes, fast, easy, and actually delicious. I start my day with it. It's the only thing that gets me going. You see this energy right now? It's because of Blackout. So no more bitter, stale junk. Just pop one in. Boom. You got strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. Whether you're racing out the door, juggling kids, or jumping into back-to-back calls, this is your new morning lifesaver. And the best part is they ship nationwide. So no matter where you live, you can have Florida fresh coffee at your door in days. Just head to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll and use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. Someone in the chat said, Hayley's my crush, LOL.
I saw that.
I'm blushing. Cute. All right, we have to talk about Canada. Unfortunately. Oh my gosh, I can't even get started on my guest for tomorrow. I'm so excited for you all to see this interview because just the Canadian government is corrupt and horrible. If you think our government is horrible, and I think our government does try to kill us with our food and things, but I mean, literally the government mandated vaccines. She took the vaccine and she's been paralyzed. This is my guest for tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, I've just been on like a Canada kick here. And I saw this headline this morning about their border crisis. The Canadian border is also under control, not under control, I should say. They lost almost 600 criminal foreigners it intended to deport. So they caught them. This is like an Obama catch and release type thing. They caught them and then they lost them. They had them. You got to be quicker than that. Do you remember that commercial with the old guy and the dollar? You got to be quicker than that. So anyway, the Canadian government and their border patrol, it's not called border patrol, but you know, their equivalent, they identified that there were 599 missing illegal aliens. And the Sun identified that 431 of the almost 600 are guilty of serious crimes, including sexual assault. And they've been missing for years. So they were supposed to come to their hearing And then they never did, and then they lost track of them.
Shocker.
So they can't keep traps. They can't keep tabs on them. They can't keep track of them, which, duh. And Canadian authorities, basically, they lost track of them because the Trudeau administration did not want to enforce immigration laws. So here is what an anonymous CBSA official allegedly said. Again, this is their version of Border Patrol. This is what he said. Justin Trudeau and his gang of woke idiots thought the list was mean and racist. That list was working. Now, no one gets detained. It's effing ridiculous. So again, liberalism is a disease. Doesn't matter if it's here. Doesn't matter if it's in Canada. I mean, it is not working. And as we can see what's happening in the UK and in Europe with all of the migration that's happening, I want to do a deep dive episode on that. I just have to find the perfect guest for it, so I'm waiting. But oh my gosh, you just see these videos in the UK of just these like horrific animalistic attacks. These migrants are just attacking people in the subway system or their subway system, the tube, whatever you call it. They're attacking people in the streets. London doesn't look the same. Like London, the demographic is totally different. I mean, people don't recognize their country anymore. And then people think that it's racist to enforce border law. It's not just about enforcing the law. It's about protecting our culture. And yes, we are a melting pot. Yes, we have all different cultures in this country, but you have to come here legally. And what we're seeing with this migration crisis is just like an erasure of what this country used to be. So if we don't enforce the border law, we're going to see things like Canada, where all of these, horrific gang members and sexual abusers are just like running amok because, they think that keeping a list of these people is racist. It's totally insane. As we know, Justin Trudeau is no longer the Prime Minister of Canada. Mark Carney is in his position now. But Justin Trudeau is keeping himself busy with none other than pop star Katy Perry, apparently. So here's a video of them. They were caught on a date. They were eating dinner, and there's Katy Perry. She's leaning in closer with Justin Trudeau. This is them. This is someone sneaky getting a video of them in the mirror. So they're at like a little cafe. Looks like a little nice wine bar in Canada. So this was the night before her show in Canada. And Justin also went to her concert, and he was seen jamming out fangirling. Watch this. That is former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau belting the lyrics to Firework by Katy Perry. I never thought I'd see it. In the world of AI, I thought, I fell for an AI video of bunnies bouncing on a trampoline. I thought maybe, my eyes are deceiving me. Maybe this isn't real. Say it ain't so.
This is both gay and not gay at the same time.
How is it not gay? Because she's dating a woman?
Allegedly,
right. Yeah. Allegedly not gay.
But also gay. Mm-hmm. It's Schrodinger's gayness.
I mean, he's headbanging to Katy Perry.
I mean, in this version of him, he's at a, Metallica concert. But, he's surrounded by middle school girls. What is... And we were talking about this before the show started.
I thought, was he with his daughters or something?
He's oddly... I hope he brought a niece.
Or someone.
Or something. I hope that he's not front row Katy Perry fireworking somewhere
by himself.
I don't understand this.
Okay, so here's a little bit of background. Justin Trudeau, when I saw this at first, I mean, I don't keep tabs on Justin Trudeau. I just don't. Justin Trudeau was married. He got divorced in 2023. That completely slipped my mind. I don't remember him being married or not married. I had no idea what his situation was. So he was married, divorced in 2023. You don't see that in the United States of America, really. You don't see a president getting divorced. You just stick it out because I feel like it would be bad press. I would have respected Hillary Clinton for leaving Bill, but she didn't. People speculate about whether or not Melania Trump is happy, but he's
just 50.
happy.
He's 53. He's not 78. You know what I mean? And I know Bill Clinton was younger and Barack was younger.
Well,
but
Bill
like,
Clinton was a dog,
but
so I would have left his.
A lot of these people are like older, but he was in his late 40s serving as the president.
She could have left. So anyway, I was thinking about some politicians who have gone through divorces. I believe Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is going through a divorce. Lauren Boebert went through a divorce, I think, also in 2023. And Kristi Noem, I don't know if it's in the works or not, but I think she's been kind of publicly dating Corey Lewandowski for a while, but I don't know if she's divorced. So I don't know what's happening with that. But I just think it's interesting for a public figure, like a prime minister or a president, to go through a divorce while they're in office. Just seems like something that I would have remembered, but I didn't. And I also wouldn't peg Justin Trudeau as the kind of guy to date Katy Perry. I just didn't have this on my bingo card.
Who introduced this couple?
I don't know. I think
who is the bridge?
I think maybe she had a little more of an edge to her now that she's an astronaut.
That's what I was going to say. Like, he admired her spacewalk and thought, you know what? I need to date an astronaut.
Yeah, I think it gave her a little edge. Like, she's not just a pop star. Now she can put astronaut on her resume. So maybe that put them in the same league, the same caliber of woman. Yeah, based on the way that Katy Perry, though, was speaking in her interviews before and after the Blue Origin trip, I can't see anyone being super impressed by her intellectually. She didn't really wow me. She was giving more Kamala Harris word salad than anything else. But maybe, he's retired, right? He's no longer in politics. So maybe he's just really entering in a new fun phase of life. And, like you said, he's young, right? So Katy Perry has one daughter. I believe she's young, maybe 5 years old, if you could just look it up, named Daisy. Daisy Bloom is her name, literally, with ex-husband Orlando Bloom. And they broke up like a month ago. And
she's 40. Katy Perry's 40.
Katy Perry's 40. How young is her daughter with Orlando Bloom? Because she's young. Justin Trudeau has 3 kids, 18, 16, and 11. And then Daisy Bloom is 4. So, I don't know. Do you think Justin Trudeau's kids, like 11 years old, are they a fan of Katy Perry? Katy Perry hasn't come out with new good music in a very long time. Katy Perry put out some bangers when I was in high school, but that was a long time ago.
So a friend of mine one time had box seats at the arena down here in Fort Lauderdale. And so you could set up in the box, and whatever concert series came through that summer, you could watch some shows. Like Paul McCartney came through, a bunch of people came through. So it was a fun deal. But Katy Perry was one of those shows. That is the oddest audience I have ever seen in my whole entire life, because the concert dips so innuendoed that you have, single men and women there, but you also have 7th graders there jumping around to firework and roar. It was the weirdest concert I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, I teased this story so much, the woman smuggling the turtles in her bra, so we have to touch on this first, and then we're going to get into some tinfoil hat time. I don't even know if we'll have time for scrolling time. We might just have to end on tinfoil hat, but we'll see. Now, a woman in Miami, she was in Miami International Airport. She tried smuggling 2 turtles in her bra going through TSA. TSA said, hold on, what's happening in there? I'm seeing a little movement in there. What's going on? I don't know. So this is what TSA wrote on Facebook. Okay, friends, please. And we cannot emphasize this enough. Stop hiding animals in weird places on your body and then trying to sneak them through airport security. No, really. A Florida woman traveling out of Miami International Airport recently attempted to take a pair of turtles through our checkpoint, and the turtles were stuffed inside, yes, you guessed it, her brassiere. We want you to be able to travel with your pets, and you totally can. That's what it says. You totally can. But please travel with them safely. You can start by reaching out to your airline for rules concerning pets on board flights. As far as TSA screening goes, small pets are allowed through our checkpoint, but must be removed from carriers. I mean, this is obvious. Here's the sad part, though. One of the turtles died. So she wrapped the turtle in saran wrap and gauze. She put them in her shirt, One of the turtles died. One of the turtles was rescued by the Florida Department of Fish and Wildlife. So that's the very sad part of the story, is that one of the turtles did not make it out alive. I don't know if these were her pets, what she was trying to do with them, where she was taking them. I don't know. I don't know any of those details. But if they were her pets, it's not illegal to bring your pet on an airplane. All she had to do was get a carrying case for them and like pay a fee. I have traveled with Birdie before. It was a pain in the neck, but you know, she cried the whole time, but you can do it. And here's another thing. You're supposed to take your animal out and walk through the checkpoint. I told the TSA agent, if I take Birdie out of this bag, she's gone. Like, we're never seeing her again. We're going to have a chase, like a high-speed chase.
All points bulletin out for Birdie.
We're going to have a high-speed chase in, you know, the Nashville International Airport. So I said, no, I need to go into like a separate room with her. And so they said, no problem. And they took me into, I went through TSA. I gave Birdie to a TSA agent. She was hanging out with Birdie. I went through TSA. Someone comes up to the TSA agent and says, did someone leave? Who left their cat here? Thinking that I left my cat. I said, no, that's my cat. I had to go through security. She's waiting for me at the other end. Like, mind your freaking business. People are so annoying. Anyway, so then I went into a separate room and, you know, I took Birdie out. They searched the bag to make sure I didn't have drugs or whatever else. Nothing nefarious. I put her back in. I was on my way. So no big deal. So this woman could have brought her pet turtles.
Totally.
If these are her pet turtles, she did not need to smuggle them and kill them in her boobs.
She could have brought them in a cooler. Who knows? But like, my question is, 4 turtles in your bra, let's just say 2 turtles aside, how ridiculously top heavy do you look bouncing through the Miami airport?
Not only
I mean, ridiculous.
Not only that, but they are alive, so they're certainly moving, and it can't look natural. One's bigger than the other, and just lots of stuff going on. I don't know. That's odd to me. Something else that's odd is how much land Oprah and Mark Zuckerberg are buying up in Hawaii. So let's get into some tinfoil hat time. Do we have my little...
Almost. Hold on. Oh, you got the hat.
I always go the wrong way for the tinfoil hat. Okay, let's put the tinfoil hat on. It's about that time. I have forgotten my tinfoil hat the last 3 times we've done it.
Full credit to Guy. I mean, nobody saw this, but he snaked around and grabbed the hat
people did
and
see
threw
it.
a touchdown pass
I know.
from the other side of the studio to the side of the desk. I mean, full Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. We got it done. All right. So you all know the conspiracy theory, I'm assuming. This is one of Andy's favorite conspiracy theories, that the fires in Maui, no, it wasn't in Maui. It was in Lahaina. Is that in Maui? Yeah. The fires in 2023 were caused by a direct energy weapon, like a laser beam that started the fire. People did not buy it that the fires were started naturally, that it was a natural wildfire. And, you know, I Googled what started the fires in Hawaii. What started the fires in Hawaii? And they just said that it was sparked by, you know, broken power lines, and it lit vegetation on fire. You know, likely story. This is how all wildfires start. Either they're, you know, something happens, it's, you know, a dumb gender reveal party in California or whatever, and it sparks a fire, and then the winds just pick up and take the fire, and it's out of control, right? So Andy was telling me that there were hurricane winds that basically spread this out of control. So however you think that the fires were started, there's a conspiracy that they were started by some direct energy weapon or laser, and there is a specific color blue that allows to whatever object is that color blue is essentially safe from the direct energy weapon or laser. So there is a theory that celebrities like Oprah, Mark Zuckerberg, these celebrities that have houses, their houses were safe. Of course, like all the celebrities' houses were safe and all, the sorry people were in the fire. And it just seems odd that like all the rich people were fine, right? So here's a photo that Andy just put up of these umbrellas. They're this bright cobalt color blue.
And there are cars and benches and
right,
all
things
kinds
that
of
are
stuff.
this color blue. It's just odd that they didn't burn in the fire. Now, I have looked this up. There is no scientific reason that, Google will tell me as to why this is the case. I did see a video. Neil deGrasse Tyson was asked about this, and he said, yes, there are blue items that survived the fire, but how do you know that there are also blue items that were burned and you just don't know because you can't see them because they're burned, which is true.
That sounds like something he'd say.
It sounds like something he'd say. Listen, I try to be fair. I try to come at the conspiracies from all sides. I try to debunk where I can, and I like to start a conversation. That's all. I'm not saying it's true or false. I'm just saying this is what the fellow conspiracy theorists are saying. And I want to talk about I did want to kind of talk about this earlier in the week, but I didn't know if Hawaii was going to get hit by a tsunami or not. So I didn't want to be insensitive. But now that Hawaii's fine, I figured we could talk about this. So Oprah, she has this massive amount of land. Hundreds of acres, 500 acres. Andy was saying 500-acre plot of land, and she's got multiple mansions on it. She's got a mansion. She's got a guest mansion, of course. 1,000 acres. I apologize. Oprah's is 1,000. We're going to get to Mark Zuckerberg's in a little bit, even bigger. So Oprah has 1,000 acres in Hawaii, and she has her own private road. And this is what made me want to bring up, all of these conspiracy theories, because the locals call it Oprah's Road. And people were saying on the internet that, well, all these evacuations were happening for this tsunami that could have happened, the tsunami watch. People were trying to desperately evacuate and get off of the island and get to safety and get to higher ground. And Oprah has this road, essentially, that goes across the island. And if it was opened, it would help the traffic flow and it would help people get to safety faster. So, apparently the road was open. People were claiming that the road wasn't open, but police were able to open up the road and people were able to use the road to get to safety. But apparently, and I looked into this, the road is not owned by Oprah Winfrey. The road is owned by Hayley Ranch. So I'm probably butchering my Hawaiian here, but that is the ranch that owns the road. And Winfrey has basically an agreement with the owners of the ranch that she pays for some improvements. She uses the road. She paid to repave the road. So it's not her road. It's not like Oprah has the go ahead to close it off to the sorry people or open it if she wants. So people were kind of blaming Oprah, but it's not her fault. Anyway, so it wasn't her call to open it or close it. But I want to talk about this, go back to this blue roof situation. So it doesn't look like her roof is blue. And there were some photos that were going around. If you could research it, I don't know if you could go on that computer, but if you search Oprah Winfrey Hawaii house, you'll see a photo of it under construction, and people were saying that the roof is blue. And it's not really blue. I guess it's bluer than, it's more of like a gray blue. But it's not that like cobalt blue that people were saying was, protected from lasers. So that's right. So this is what people were saying is blue. It's blue, but it's not that like bright blue that the umbrellas were. So this was her house under construction. If you could pull up 11, Andy, because this is what her house looks like now. So whatever that blue was, that was the uncompleted roof. This is the roof. It's gray. So maybe there was some sort of lining or something that they put on it while it was under construction. But this is, and again, this photo of Oprah's house is from her website. It's from Oprah.com. And it does look fake. It looks, maybe this is like a rendering or something, but there's a horse out front. So maybe the roof is blue and this is just Photoshopped to look gray. I don't know what to trust. Okay. But let's just say it's blue-gray. I don't think it's that bright blue that conspiracy theorists were saying was protected by the lasers. Protected from the lasers, I should say. But I also want to talk about Mark Zuckerberg, because Mark Zuckerberg also has bought up a ton of land, 1,000 acres. They just added 1,000 acres to their ranch that they had. So now in total, Mark Zuckerberg has 2,300 acres in Hawaii.
$300 million compound.
Yeah.
Incredible.
$300 million. I know that he's very successful. I know that he's very wealthy. I don't know what you would need this for. So I wanted to have this conversation because people think that maybe he's planning for something. Maybe it's a doomsday bunker. He has debunked, or not debunked, but he has, denounced those claims. He has said, no, I'm not, making like a doomsday bunker. This is just a house for my friends and family, right? Which is crazy. I mean, I guess if you're a rich person, I'd never understand this. I think at some point, isn't like 3 acres enough? People will say no, but I don't know. That
What's
seems
enough
like a
is
lot
when
of
I
land
can't see
to me.
my neighbors. That's enough. When I cannot see my neighbors, thank you. That's enough. I'll be so happy. That's great.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, people, if you're hunting or something, maybe you want more land. If you're farming, of course, you want more land. And Mark Zuckerberg is farming. So he has basically purchased all this land, and this plot of land, like I said, is 2,300 acres. It's insane. But he is turning this into a conservation site and farming location. They are including cattle ranching. They are growing organic ginger, macadamia nut, and turmeric. They are also restoring native plants and endangered species on this land. So I guess this is like a side hustle for the Zuckerberg family.
Well, yeah.
Just like a hobby. How
boredom.
some people get a few chickens. He's just cattle farming and growing turmeric and whatever else. Someone in the chat says, I have 4 acres. I need more. Okay. Maybe I'm just a simple woman, but this seems like rich people shit to me. Anyway, so Zuckerberg purchased this ranch, and they purchased it because the people who owned the land before planned to build a bunch of luxury homes on it. So the Zuckerbergs, stepped in and said, no, my bunker's going here. My doomsday bunker is going here. So they have short-term, what they're calling guest houses on the land. They are apparently using these for friends and family and Meta staff, which seems also like maybe a conflict of interest, or maybe when all hell breaks loose, he can save some Meta employees and his company won't, it'll kind of be like the designated survivor.
Keep them in there coding.
The designated survivor of Meta. That's what I'm thinking. So certainly he has more than enough room. And according to Wired, who did a whole thing on this, it can house, his $300 million compound can house comfortably more than 100 people. That's crazy. I'm thinking this is more than anyone would ever need. So that gets me thinking that he would want Meta employees on his farm should something happen. And then that begs the question, do we think that elites like Oprah and Mark Zuckerberg know when things are going to happen before they happen?
Oh, for
sure. Do they know
sure.
that something's coming that we
For
don't?
sure.
What are they prepping for?
Google also told me that 2,300 acres, that's 3.5 square miles. I mean, that is a massive,
Yeah.
it's a 5K. So, that's a massive distance of land to own. Ain't nobody going to know what he's doing there. So, there's even Bill Gates' house, as I told you this before the show, Bill Gates' house underground in Seattle. It's built underground. These people know what's up.
And I think when you are so famous and so rich, there's certainly a target on your back, right? People hate you. They want what you have, regardless of if you're a controversial figure or not. I think if you're a public figure, there's more risk involved. So I can understand that you want your house to be safe and secure. You know, you have the top-notch security systems and whatnot, but 2,300 acres just seems like a lot. It just seems excessive. So my question to all of you in the chat, and we can just think on this, what do they know that we don't, and that we don't have enough money to prepare for, but they do? I would love to have a bunker in my house of some sort, just water, some non-perishable food.
Yeah, my bunker would be the size of like a VW Beetle. You know what I mean? I mean, he has like Mar-a-Lago underground in Hawaii.
Yeah, not a bad place if the world ends to be, but all right, I'll let you all think on that. No time for scrolling time, but I'll make it up to you, I promise. I'll do it when I host Vince tomorrow. How's that? All right, again, reminder, I am hosting Vince tomorrow at 10 a.m., so I will see you bright and early, 10 a.m. I'm literally, right now, I'm going to go prep for tomorrow's show. So I will be doing that. I will see you tomorrow. I will also see you on the radio show, and I will see you right back here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Nightly Scroll as promised and as planned, as always. So I'll see you right back here tomorrow. See ya.